Hey, good morning. Welcome. We're live at Chick-Fil-A in the Crossing of the North Johnson City on the Tom Dover Sports Show, show number 583. We welcome you and thanks for being with us again on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day, show number 583. We thank you for being with us, and we're very excited about, as always, to be here and hang out with the folks here at Chick-Fil-A. That would be the marketing queen herself, Miss Connie, and all the folks that make this place go, and they do a phenomenal job. And so we're here. Danny Birchfield and Tim Birchfield and Tracy's in the house, and Amy's in the house, and Judy's in the house. All the ladies and the kids are here. And so Carrie's here as well. So all the great employees or associates at Chick-fil-A are here again on this Wednesday. We have lots to talk about. College football, NFL, Major League Baseball, high school sports here on the local scene. Also, Tropical Storm Harvey now getting ready to make impact in our region and all the way up through the Atlantic seaboard. So keep an eye to the sky and an ear to the radio, and keep yourself dialed into what's going on with the weather. We're supposed to get a lot of rain in here tomorrow night into Friday. Then it's a pretty fast-moving system. Going to move on out, but again, a lot of rain coming in here tomorrow and Friday, and of course on up in the West Virginia, Kentucky, depending on the track of the storm, Pennsylvania. So it's going to be interesting to say the least, but nothing like what's going on down in Texas and Louisiana. It's just there's really not an adjective to describe it. So as I'm not even going to try to. It's been tried to be explained and defined by many people many different ways, but it's just catastrophic, horrific, and very, very sad situation. However, having said that, a lot of folks up here are loading up the wagons. I know Food City, we're going to be talking about that. One of our great sponsors, Food City, is giving you the opportunity to give to the Hurricane Harvey effort down in Texas and the cleanup effort as it has begun. The rain, I think, has subsided, and so things are going to, sun's supposed to come out, I think, late today. And the problem with everything down here, it's so hot. It's summertime, obviously, in Texas, so that's going to compound things. But anyway, they're going to try and put their lives back together. And, you know, we have found out when disaster strikes in this country, we as Americans are pretty resilient. And so we would anticipate much the same. I will say this, whether you like the guy, I knew this was going to happen. Whether you like the guy or not, some do and some don't. Our president was there. I told you he'd get somebody to say something about it, so they were on her about her shoes. Not the fact that he went down there to check on these Americans, the people he's in charge of, but because she had the wrong shoes on. She had some pumps, and so she got off Air Force One and had some pumps on, so they're all over about that, the media. So she changed the walking shoes, and then she didn't have the right walking shoes on. So I don't know what kind of walking shoes you need to have on when you're walking around in water or, you know, in wet streets and what have you. But again, as I predicted, they'd be after her and him about something. He didn't do it right. So somebody else said he went too soon. Okay. Some said he should have been down there sooner. He's going back Saturday, by the way. And so then they said, well, they kept him away from he didn't see all the major devastation. Okay. He went to the recovery center and he went to the nerve center where all the authorities are. I'm not defending the guy. I'm just saying that he catches more crap as our president. He didn't do anything right. And so she had the wrong shoes on. Really? So, but it is what it is. So anyway, our show is devoted to the man who hung on the cross. We do that unashamedly. Here is the verse to get us started today. Psalms 91:1 says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." I love it. Let's do it again. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Coming up, that worked good a while ago. There we go. Coming up, we'll have Chris Van Dyke, NASCAR driver at the King Sports Speedway, trying to nail down a championship coming up this weekend. If we got racing at the Concrete Jungle, he's going to join us coming up here in a little while. Also, Greg Salyer will be here along with our Major League Baseball update. Lots going on in the bigs right now. Getting ready to head down the home stretch to get ready for the final month of September. A lot of baseball interdivisional, and so a lot of these teams will either be making or breaking their season. We'll talk to Greg about that. And also Joe Avento. Joe covers East Tennessee State University sports, Buck Sports for the Johnson City Press. Joe's going to be along here in a little while as well. So lots going on. We'll take the first break, and we'll come right back and take a look at the National Football League. We'll do that right after you see and hear this on show number 583. Our show brought to you by Grip Energy Drink. Love me some Grip, and we're going to get some here in a little while. Got some out in the car, and we're going to enjoy some Grip Energy Drink. I love it. And, of course, I'm all about the root beer and the pineapple, the lemon lime, the pink grapefruit, and now the sugar-free orange and the sugar-free pink grapefruit. Love it, love it, love it. Grip, currently buy one, get one free at all Food Cities, and so we'll be at Food City on Friday. Al's going to join us on Friday as well, so we're looking forward to being there on Friday at Food City promoting Grip Energy Drink. NFL news next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings. Everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Michael, the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. As we told you, Food City stepping up to help out with the Hurricane Harvey. So Food City customers will be able to make an in-store donation to the checkout line at all 121 of its store locations, accepting contributions through Wednesday, a week from today, September the 6th. Proceeds will be split between 3 different organizations: the Salvation Army, Samaritan's Purse, and the Houston Food Bank. All 3 organizations were selected based on their unique purpose of helping the hurricane victims. So you can go to any Food City between now and next Wednesday a week and make a donation in the checkout line. And so all that will go 100% to Houston, either to the Salvation Army, Samaritan's Purse, and the Houston Food Bank, which is a very, very nice gesture as always. Food City always giving back to the community. In this case, is giving back to the community of Houston, Texas. Volunteers from the Sullivan Baptist Association, the disaster relief, are on standby for possible Hurricane Harvey relief duty. sending a tractor trailer that is a mass feeding operation, along with a box truck and a power generator, to serve thousands of meals to people in need, with 35 volunteers are prepared to work in coordination with the Red Cross. They'll either go to Louisiana or Texas, and we'll find out later today where the Sullivan Baptist Association will be heading off to. Jim Ramey, who served many meals to those affected by Katrina, says this unit will also be traveling with shower and laundry trailers to help those in need. Also says you never get used to seeing the folks, the pain on their face, when you hand them a good hot meal and a cold drink of water in Jesus' name. That's what it's all about. So the Sullivan Baptist Association gearing up to head off to Louisiana and Texas. NFL news, Dallas Cowboy running back Ezekiel Elliott in the process of appealing his 6-game suspension. His appeal started yesterday, his hearing, and according to NFL reports, will continue into today. Elliott suspended by the league for allegedly committing several acts of domestic violence over a period of a few days last July. He was never charged with a crime, but the league conducted an investigation over the course of more than a year and then ultimately suspended the Cowboys running back earlier this month. Through lawyers, Elliott noted his disappointment with the league's ruling and, citing a lack of evidence, stated that he would appeal. His father also said he's going to appeal. And so it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get interesting. It's going to get ugly as well. With Elliott's suspension set to start on September the 2nd, the appeal hearing heading into a second day is a bad break for the Cowboys running back, as there's no guarantee. Henderson, that would be the guy going through all this. That would be, let's see, is it Howard Henderson? Arbitrator Henderson. Is it Howard or Harold? Can't remember his first name. It's not here in the story either. So, anyway, it's not known what Elliott will do if the suspension is merely reduced rather than overturned altogether. But if Henderson upholds the suspension, Elliott and the NFL Players Association are expected to take the case to court and request a stay of the punishment that will allow him to play while the case is pending, as Tom Brady did back in 2015. That could result in Elliott serving the suspension later in the season, sometime in 2018, or not at all, depending on the outcome of the case. So it's far from over. It's going to get interesting, to say the least. And again, he's into the second day of appealing his 6-game suspension for the Dallas Cowboys. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco has been out for over a month while dealing with a back injury. Ravens have signed and cut several quarterbacks during the time he's set out, but have largely maintained their stance that Flacco will be ready in time for the regular season. With the start of the season now less than 2 weeks away, looks like Flacco is closing in on a return to the team. Ravens coach John Harbaugh told the team's official website yesterday that Flacco has resumed throwing and will be back in practice really soon. He's moving towards practice, Harbaugh said, with the doctors clear him, which we don't know what that date will be or when that's going to happen. We believe it's going to be real soon in time to prepare for the Bengals, and he'll be out there. There's been some concern about what kind of shape Flacco might be in after sitting out for over a month, but Harbaugh is not worried, noting that Flacco has been working on his conditioning even while sitting on the sideline. Here's the final week of the exhibition season. It goes as follows. Everything coming up on Thursday. Jacksonville and Atlanta to battle the Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Philadelphia will be in New York to battle the Jets. The Packers at Lambeau Field hosting the Rams. Detroit plays at Buffalo. Bengals at Indianapolis. Redskins at Tampa Bay. Everything on Thursday. The Steelers in Charlotte to battle the Panthers. New York, the Giants at New England. Miami and Minnesota. Baltimore and New Orleans. The Browns will be in Chicago to battle the Bears. Dallas at Houston. The Titans will wrap up preseason in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Arizona at Denver. The Chargers at San Francisco. And the real team, the Raiders. My boys, the Oakland Raiders, hosting Seattle to wrap up the NFL preseason. All these games will be coming up on Thursday night. And finally, the NFL news, and a very cool gesture, the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys will donate all the proceeds from their final preseason game to the relief efforts of Hurricane Harvey. Texans announcing the joint effort between the teams and their players in a statement from their team PR account on Tuesday. Cowboys made a simultaneous announcement via their official website. And so tickets are $25 a piece. It's been moved to the Cowboys AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Will cost $25, as will parking. The Texans announcing that the proceeds from those sales will go to the United Way, a Greater Houston Relief Fund that supports the efforts of the Red Cross and the Salvation Army for Hurricane Harvey relief and recovery along the Texas Gulf Coast. Very nice gesture Cowboys and the Texans. The entire proceeds of the game, $25 ticket, $25 to park. All that will go to the relief efforts for Hurricane Harvey. Again, will go under the umbrella of the Red Cross and the Salvation Army in Houston. So a very, very nice gesture there. Tom Taylor Sports Show, thanks for being with us again on this Wednesday. We're live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Hey, coming up on Sunday night, if you have a chance, you to come over there and hang out with us at Natural Tunnel State Park on Sunday night for the Papa Joe Smitty Bluegrass Festival. Papa Joe Smitty Mountain Music Festival, to be exact, at Natural Tunnel State Park on Sunday evening, starting at 6 o'clock. Dr. Joe Smitty and Reedy Creek will be there. They've been playing together for more than 4 decades. Papa Joe was there last year. Of course, he got sick and passed away. We lost him since last year. And so the Dr. Joe Smitty, his son, and Reedy Creek will be there playing. Also, the East Tennessee State Bluegrass and Old Time Pride bands will be there on Sunday. And then capping off a great night will be Carson Peters and Iron Mountain, a young musical prodigy from Piney Flats. Carson Peters started playing the fiddle at the age of 3. Peters and his talented Iron Mountain band entertain audiences. He's been on the Jay Leno Show, the Grand Ole Opry. Got a chance to go up on the Opry and play with Ricky Skaggs and his band Kentucky Thunder. And so this time he was asked to reappear at the Grand Ole Opry with his own band. So cool stuff. Tickets are $10 now, $15 day of. Natural Tunnel State Park tickets will be $15 each. Kids 12 and under free with a paying adult. Proceeds will go to the Cove Ridge Foundation's Papa Joe Smitty Scholarship Fund. And we have the privilege of emceeing that event. Starts at 6 o'clock on Sunday night at Natural Tunnel State Park in Virginia. So, cool place. Great facility. Love the acoustics. It's an amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater, obviously, and it is very, very nice. Kind of cut back into a hillside. The acoustics are incredible. Seats about 300, 400 people. Maybe a little bit bigger, probably 500 people. And, of course, you're encouraged to bring your lawn chairs and blankets. Food and drinks are welcome. No alcohol is allowed on the property. And, of course, there is a concession stand. So that's coming up Sunday night at Natural Tunnel State Park. Dr. Joe Smitty and Reedy Creek, ETSU Bluegrass, and the ETSU Old Time Pride Bands, and Carson Peters and Iron Mountain will be the groups we'll get a chance to MC and promote coming up on Sunday night, again at Natural Tunnel State Park in Southwest Virginia. Quick break. We'll be right back. We've got more for you. We are live at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Coming up top of the hour, we'll talk baseball. The Major League Baseball update with Greg Salyer. Also later in the show, we'll hear from Joe Avento talking about ETSU sports and, of course, primarily the Buccaneer football program, cranking up with a brand new stadium and everything on a sold-out football game on Saturday. So we'll hear from Joe what's going on in Buckland. All that and more straight ahead. We'll come back and take a look at college football. Lots going on in college football. That comes up next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call, and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here, the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and done. We're your one-and-done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one-and-done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us. And I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. And right there it is. Who's going to win the next big game? Guess correctly, win a $25 prize. Folks are in already. TomTaylorSports.com/football. And again, each week during the football season, we'll announce a new winner. So we will announce this week's winner, of course, next week after we pick, or you pick, Virginia Tech, West Virginia. You pick, let's see who else is in there. You pick West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Alabama, Florida State, Texas A&M, UCLA, and what's the last one I'm leaving out? Oh, Florida, Michigan. And so there's your 5 college, your 5 high school this week. Science-Hill, Dobbins-Minute, Tennessee High, Daniel Boone, Sullivan North at Cosby, Elizabethton at Sullivan East, and I can't remember the last one. I've got it here somewhere. Good grief. Anyway, just go there to TomTaylorSports.com/football. And again, all we need is your first name, last name, where you're from, and again, your email address. If you win next week, we'll be able to get you $25 worth of goodies. And so all that coming up again right now through tomorrow night. And so we'll be live at Champion Chevrolet tomorrow night, Dave and myself, again from the Champion Chevrolet showroom for the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show, week number 2. It's going to crank up big time because college football is here. All right, let's take a look at college football before we get in. Crest Van Dyke's on his way to hang out with us. Hurricane Harvey continues to devastate the Houston metropolitan area. Forced another change in the college football schedule. The Houston Cougars announcing their season opener, University of Texas at San Antonio, has been postponed, be made up at a later date. Also to the football game in addition that was scheduled to take place at the Alamo Dome on Saturday night. The school announcing that all of Houston's athletic events this weekend have been postponed due to the ongoing flooding. So, again, they're going to, cancel the Houston University of Texas at San Antonio football game and going to reschedule that later on this year. Houston's scheduled bye week is November 11th. University of Texas at San Antonio is September the 30th, so there's different options they're trying to work through the colleges right now to get that rescheduled. Number 1, Alabama meets number 3, Florida State at the Chick-Fil-A Bowl coming up on this weekend on Saturday in Atlanta, the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's being billed as the greatest opener of all time, marks the 18th time a preseason number 1 team faces the top 25 opponent in the opener. The Crimson Tide, which opens at number 1 for the second straight season, are 5-0 all-time in openers as the preseason number 1 pick. Nick Saban will look to improve to 11-0 in openers with Alabama after leading the Tide last year to a 52-6 drubbing of number 20 Southern Cal. All right, here's a few things to know about the preseason number 1 team heading into the opener. Number 1 team has lost an opener 6 times. Number 1 team hasn't lost the opener since 1990 when BYU defeated then number 1 ranked Miami of Florida 24-16. Number 1 teams are 13-4 against top 25 teams in the opener. And the number 1 teams at a neutral site are 8-1. The lone loss coming in 1984 when number 14 Miami of Florida beat number 1 Auburn 20-18. So here are the top 25 number 1s against top 25 teams. You have 1950, Notre Dame beat North Carolina. 1953, top-ranked Notre Dame beat Oklahoma. 1954, number 1 Notre Dame beat number 4 Texas. 1957, Oklahoma, the Sooners, beat number 8 Pittsburgh that year. 1958, number 1 Ohio State, the Buckeyes beat number 20 SMU. 1978, number 1 Alabama beat 10th-ranked Nebraska 20-3. 1982, number 1 Pittsburgh beat number 5 North Carolina 7-6. 1983, top-ranked Nebraska rolled over 4th-ranked Penn State 44-6. 1984, 14th-ranked Miami of Florida beat top-ranked Auburn 20-18. 1986, number 1 Oklahoma beat number 4 UCLA 38-3. 1988, 6th-ranked Miami of Florida, the Hurricanes beat the number 1 ranked Florida State Seminoles 31-0. Butt whooping. 1989, 2nd-ranked Notre Dame beat top-ranked Michigan 24-19. 1990, number 16 BYU beat number 1 Miami of Florida 24-21. 1991, top-ranked Florida State, the Seminoles beat 19th-ranked BYU 44-28. And again, the most recent, 1992, number 1 Miami of Florida beat number 23 Iowa 23-7. Again, Alabama 5-0 all-time in openers as the preseason number 1. Nick Saban will look to improve to 11-0 in openers. He has never lost an opening game since becoming the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Second biggest game of the week this week will be in Arlington, Texas on Saturday afternoon when number 11 Michigan and number 17 Florida square off. We just don't have any idea who the starting quarterback will be for either team following the opening kickoff. Could be you, could be me. During a press conference on Monday, Florida coach Jim McElwain told reporters that when it came to the Gators quarterbacks, the team has a plan in place, but that he won't name a starter. We'll leave that for Michigan to guess and figure out, he said. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh has yet to release his starter either. He told reporters on Monday he won't name his starting quarterback either, and says specifically that Florida hasn't named theirs. He said, quote, "We'd love to have that information." So it's a cat and mouse between Florida's Jim McElwain and Michigan's Jim Harbaugh. Tennessee is the only college football program electing not to reveal its starting quarterback. Paul Johnson, he's got 4 quarterbacks on the roster. He will not reveal who starting quarterback is going to be on Monday night in Atlanta for Tennessee and Georgia Tech. He has Matthew Jordan, 6'2", 210 junior. Has Taquan Marshall, 5'10", 180 junior. Has redshirt freshman Lucas Johnson, 6'3", 210 freshman, or Jay Jones, 6 foot 188 freshman. None of those, as he's revealing, is going to be his starting quarterback for the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck or Yellow Jackets. Here's your Southeastern Conference schedule coming up for this weekend. Alphabetically, Alabama, Florida State, and Atlanta, the Chick-Fil-A Bowl coming up on Saturday. Arkansas, hosting Florida A&M. That'll be tomorrow night in Little Rock. Auburn entertaining Georgia Southern in Auburn. Florida, Michigan, neutral site, Arlington, Texas. Georgia, the Bulldogs hosting Appalachian State in Athens on Saturday. Kentucky travels to Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. LSU will host BYU. Ole Miss will battle South Alabama in Oxford. Mississippi State will be all over Charleston Southern and Starkville, Mississippi. Missouri will battle Missouri State. South Carolina takes on North Carolina State, neutral game in Charlotte. Tennessee, Georgia Tech Monday night in Atlanta for the Volunteers opener. Texas A&M and UCLA will be coming up on September the 3rd in Pasadena. And Vanderbilt battles Middle Tennessee State in Murfreesboro on Saturday. And that's your SEC schedule. Let's take a look at, let's see. Got some other conferences we want to run down here real quick. The Southern Conference, of course, East Tennessee State hosting Limestone. That'll be coming up again on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock here in Johnson City. Tomorrow night, Jacksonville at Mercer and Sanford hosting Kennesaw State. On Saturday, Southern Conference, Western Carolina plays in Hawaii. VMI, the Cadets at Air Force. Furman at Wofford. Newberry at the Citadel. So that's a conference opener for Furman and Wofford on Saturday. And Newberry will be at the Citadel coming up again this weekend. In the ACC, who's playing there? Tomorrow night, Wake Forest hosting Presbyterian. On Friday, Syracuse hosting Central Connecticut State. Boston College goes to Northern Illinois on Friday. On Saturday, Clemson hosting Kent State. North Carolina playing host to Cal. That should be a pretty good one. Bethune-Cookman in Miami. Pitt hosting Youngstown State. North Carolina State, South Carolina, the Bell College kickoff game in Charlotte at 3 o'clock. William & Mary will be in Charlottesville to battle Virginia. Duke hosting North Carolina Central. Louisville, the Cardinals battle Purdue at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis on Saturday evening. Of course, Florida State, Alabama, and that'll be happening again at 8 o'clock on Saturday. And the Chick-Fil-A kickoff game at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. On Sunday, the Hokies of Virginia Tech taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers, the Black Diamond Trophy game, a 7:30 kickoff on Sunday night from Landover, Maryland. And then on Monday, you've got Tennessee, Georgia Tech, as we told you, and that's going to be the Chick-fil-A kickoff game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Big Ten Conference, Minnesota, the Golden Gophers tomorrow night hosting Buffalo. Ohio State, national television. Second-ranked Buckeyes will be in Indiana to battle the Hoosiers in a conference opener. On Friday, Rutgers hosting Washington, Wisconsin playing host to Utah State. On Saturday, Big Ten Conference, Illinois hosting Ball State, Iowa, the Hawkeyes hosting the Wyoming Cowboys, Maryland travels to Texas, Michigan State home to Bowling Green, Penn State hosting Akron, Michigan, as we know, at 3:30, hosting Florida, Northwestern home to Nevada, Purdue, the Boilermakers hosting Louisville, and Nebraska home to Arkansas State. That would be the Big Ten Conference schedule coming up this weekend. Then you have the Big 12. Let's run those down. Tomorrow night, Oklahoma State hosting Tulsa. On Saturday, Maryland at Texas. UTEP at Oklahoma. Eastern Washington at Texas Tech. Kansas hosting Southeast Missouri State. Kansas State hosting Central Arkansas. The Liberty Flames travel to Baylor to battle the Bears. Northern Iowa at Iowa State. TCU hosting Jackson State. West Virginia and Virginia Tech neutral site at Landover, Maryland. And that's your schedule in the Big 12 Conference coming up. Again, hey man, how's it going? Just fine, thank you. Coming up on Saturday in the Big 12, my boys, the Marshall Thundering Herd. We are Marshall. They'll open up at 6:30 at home against Miami of Ohio at Joan Edwards Stadium in Huntington at 6:30 on Saturday. And did we go? Yeah, we ran down the Big 10 Conference. And that's what we got going on. That's in college football. That's the very latest in college football here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Yep, Crest's on his way, running late. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're live at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Again, Chick-fil-A, where today is a good day. Any day is a good day to get the strips, to get that frosted lemonade. Of course, the peach milkshakes are gone. They're done. That was a seasonal, and so they're out of here. And also the Smokehouse barbecue chicken is gone. But, man, they've got those great sandwiches and the salads. And, of course, the chicken strips, the chicken nuggets. They got the club sandwich, the grilled chicken club. They've got the wraps, all that great foods here at Chick-fil-A. And we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. And we've got more for you on this Wednesday Live at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
Oh, we got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us. And I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Ange and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. There's the pick and battle right there. Again, who's going to win the next big game? Go to TomTaylorSports.com/football, and there you go. Here's the games you're picking this week. You can go in. All we need is your first name, last name, the town you're from, of course, and your email address. And after that, pick them. Have at it. Good luck. Who do you think is going to win between Tennessee and Georgia Tech, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Michigan, and Texas A&M and UCLA? Then the high school picks this week. You say, Tom, I'm out of town. I have no clue about Tennessee football. Roll the dice. Good luck. I guess you can put in more than one. Pick one team. Science Hill, Dobbins Minute. I mean, there's all kinds of variations. Science Hill, Dobbins Minute. Hampton at Happy Valley. Elizabethton at Sullivan East. Also Tennessee High at Daniel Boone. And Sullivan North at Cosby. Those are the games to pick this week in the picking panel. Again, how do you do it? One more time. Very, very easy. You just go down here to, boom, TomTaylorSports.com/football. Good luck. We're going to have that on tomorrow night's show. Again, that one right there, Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show tomorrow night. Show. I'm getting excited. Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show tomorrow night at 6 o'clock from the showroom at Champion Chevrolet. It's going to be good. Cannot wait. Looking forward to being over there tomorrow night with Dave Ange and our cast of characters. Kevin Harmon's going to give us a UT preview against Georgia Tech. Joe Avento will give us the Limestone College preview for the Buccaneers. He'll be here again today. Buddy's going to be there tomorrow night, too, by phone. Also going to hear him from Carmichael, the Big Five, the 5-Star Preview Show, the 5 biggest college football games of the week tomorrow night. And he'll break those down for us. Also going to hear from folks from Virginia Tech talking about the Hokies matchup with the West Virginia Mountaineers, the Black Diamond Trophy. And also we'll hear from Dave Ange, the co-host of the show. And also we'll hear from Doug Fritz. Fritz going to give us a preview of some of the high school games we're about to talk about. And then Dave Ange will preview the Big East Conference here locally for tomorrow night. Polls are out again this week. Let's refresh your memory. 6A football, Murfreesboro, Oakland, number 1. Science Hill, the Hilltoppers, are number 4 in the state from our neck of the woods. In 5A football, Knox Catholic, number 1. The Daniel Boone Trailblazers ranked 7th in the state. In 4A football, Greenville at number 1. Elizabethton in at number 7. In 3A football, Alcoa is number 1. In 2A football, Adamsville is number 1. The Hampton Bulldogs in at number 9. And Happy Valley gets an honorable mention. And in single A football, Dresden number 1 and Cloudland, the Highlanders, in at number 10 in the state in Tennessee high school football for this week. So let's run down who's playing where alphabetically. Games tomorrow night. Got 4 or 5 games tomorrow night. There may be more moving. There may be some moving to Saturday simply because of the remnants of Tropical Storm Harvey coming our way with a lot of rain. So there may be teams, since football is the money cow, and they need the biggest crowds they can get on Friday night football, there may be a chance to move some of those to Saturday simply to accommodate. I know they're up against some other things, but to accommodate it's nothing official yet, but they may, to accommodate crowds to make money on the big games. Again, football, you get 5 home games a year, so you got to make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck, of course. So tomorrow night, Gatlinburg, Pittman, and Northview Academy. None of these have been changed because of weather. These were originally scheduled to be on Thursday. Johnson County will be in Chucky Doak to battle the Black Knights. Morristown West at Farragut tomorrow night. South Green, the Rebels of Cobb County, and Unicoi County travels to North Green. That's all tomorrow night. On Friday, Cherokee at Morristown East, Cumberland Gap and Meigs County. Crockett at Volunteer. Elizabethton will be on the road at Sullivan East. Hampton and Happy Valley. What a backyard slobber knocker that's going to be at Happy Valley. Hancock County at Unaka. Hardin Valley at Heritage. Also tomorrow night, Jeff County at Bearden. Science Hill and Dobbins Minute renewing that rivalry. And, man, that's going to be a barn burner tomorrow night at Friday night at J. Fred Johnson Stadium. Sullivan North at Cosby. Sullivan South at Granger. You've got Tennessee High at Daniel Boone. You've got Union County at Greenville. West Green at Claiborne. And Cloudland and Sullivan Central have the night off. In Southwest Virginia tomorrow night, Abington and Friday night, Abington and Gate City. Castlewood at Honaker. Chilhowie at J.I. Burton. Harlan Independent Kentucky at Thomas Walker. Holston at Twin Springs. Lehigh at Lebanon. Richlands at Union. Shelby Valley, Kentucky hosting Ridgeview on Friday night. Rye Cove, the War Eagles go to Patrick Henry. Virginia High, the Bearcats will battle John Battle. Grundy hosting Wise Central, and Eastside has the night off. All right, let's take a look at volleyball from last night. Chucky Doak defeated Sullivan Central. Greenville defeated Pigeon Forge. Morristown West girls over Morristown East. Volunteer defeated Crockett. Tennessee High defeated Daniel Boone in girls volleyball last night. In Tennessee, Eastside defeated Wise Central. Gate City beat Richlands. Lebanon defeated Honaker. And Union defeated Rye Cove in girls volleyball from last night. Tonight, Elizabethton will be at Sullivan North, Lehigh at Sullivan Central, and Virginia High, the Lady Bearcats, will be at Sullivan East to play volleyball against the Lady Patriots. And in Southwest Virginia tonight, Twin Springs will be at Council. Last night in soccer, Northeast Tennessee, Alcoa beat Cosby 8-2. Chucky Doak University High played a 1-1 tie. Dobbinsville at blanks Crockett 9-0. Gatlinburg Pittman over Austin East 9-0. Greenville blanks Sullivan South in soccer 9-0. Jeff County beat South Doyle 6-0. Knox West over Morristown West in girls soccer 4-3. Sevier County beat Cott County 4-0. And Sullivan Central blanks Elizabethton 4-0 in girls high school soccer. Tom Taylor Sports Show, thanks for being with us. We're live at Chick-Fil-A. Coming up Friday, going to be at Food City. On a Food City Friday, you got a big 3-day coupon sale. Check out some of these specials Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Labor Day weekend at all Food Cities. Honey Nut Cheerios or Cheerios for 99 cents a box. Nature Valley Granola Bars for 99 cents. Seedless Watermelon for Labor Day weekend, $2.99. Unbelievable. Kraft Mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar for $1.99. Kraft American Singles, 16 slices for $1.49. Maxwell House Wake Up Roast Coffee, 30-ounce container, $4.99. Van Camp's Chili, 99 cents a can, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Food Club Spring Water, $1.99. Sweet Baby Ray's Barbecue Sauce, 99 cents, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Food City. We'll be at Food City in Boones Creek on Friday. My man Al Albiker's going to be there from Grip Energy Drink, and they're going to be doing some sampling and some giveaways on Friday in the Food City in Boones Creek. Bomb Pops. It's got your name written all over it. Van Dyke Loves. He is the bomb. He can flat drive a race car. He's going to join us coming up in a second. Bomb Pops are $1.99. Johnsonville Bratwurst, $2.99. And Deli Fresh Sandwich Meats from Oscar Mayer, $2.99. All that's going to be the 3-day coupon coming up again Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at your local Food City. And again, as we said earlier, you can make an in-store donation at all Food Cities to help the Hurricane Harvey efforts, which I think is just so classy by Food City. Those folks are hurting. 40 inches of rain. Can you imagine? Can't even begin to imagine. I had somebody tell me yesterday, well, it's so dry outside. I thought, I'm going to slap them. Man, we can't complain about the weather. We got some rain coming our way as a result of Tropical Storm Harvey. So we're supposed to have a couple of inches of rain coming our way here starting tomorrow night into Friday. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. We'll go from high school sports to NASCAR. We got some big news happening in NASCAR, but we're going to talk to one of the guys. The old boy says, get her done. Van Dyke's getting her done. We're going to talk Chris coming up next. We're live at Chick-Fil-A here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, They use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. I'm not Chris Van Dyke. I'm fixing to go to him just in a second. But again, I want to say thanks to Food City, because Food City has said stop by there between now and next Wednesday and make an in-store donation, and everything will go, and that donation to the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund, it'll go to the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, or the Houston Food Bank. So very, very nice gesture as usual by Food City. We'll be at Food City in Boones Creek on Friday. And so let's bring the man in here. This guy is hotter than a $2 pistol. As old George Jones used to sing, she was hotter than a $2 pistol. I've embarrassed myself. I love it.
That's a good one. I like that.
You like it?
Yeah.
The old Corvette song, hotter than a $2 pistol. That's what this guy is, Chris Van Dyke, NASCAR driver, Kingsport Speedway. You had a heck of a year, big guy. See, I haven't had you on for about a month. You're hard to catch because you're practicing and driving, and all these drivers have on Fridays talking about the late model. They said, say what you want. The old boy can drive a car. He comes prepared. What was the guy's name really paid you the compliment? Dennis Arnold really paid you a compliment last week. Said,
yeah, I like old Dennis. He's a good one.
This guy puts in his time. He gets prepared. Proof's in the pudding. So tell me about your season so far.
Man, it's it's been a blessed season. We've had one of the best years we've ever had. We've had some good years in the past and everything. We've had some double-digit winning years, and but this one here kind of suppresses the rest of them. We've up to 25 wins now with 38 starts. We're currently pretty solid in the top 10 in the nation. Been running in top 5, top 3 in the nation all year long. It's just but we run for 2 track championships, and when you do that, you really kind of let the points fall where they are. So the national points are kind of handicapped on what you can and can't do. You can't follow the car count and go to the beach whenever you want to, because you've still got to be up Friday night at Kingsport racing or at Lonesome Pine racing, and so when we do travel, we're off at one of these other racetracks, so we have to kind of pace what we do, and so we take what we get.
Other tracks you've ran at so far have you been to Hickory?
Been to Hickory. We've won down there, had several good runs. Every time we go down there, we've had a good solid run. We've been to Greenville Pickens, had a solid run down there. We've been to a couple more tracks there offhand, but they're on the national records on the NASCAR home tracks. So if anybody wants to check it out, you can go on to NASCAR home tracks and check it out.
You made 38 starts and won 25.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good batting percentage. I'd take it all day long. So it's 25 and 13. And the races you didn't win, you were right there and you were very competitive, right?
Yeah, I think at Kingsport we've this past weekend we had a second and a fourth. Fourth was the worst finish we've had all year, and it's Lonesome Pine. We won the first race, and the second race we had an engine failure halfway through. We actually had a retainer break on the valve spring and dropped the valve. We didn't get to finish the race. I think we ended up finishing ninth. We still had a top 10 finish. There were 16 cars over there with the events, and just a solid season. We've won every race over there until the motor failure. So I mean, it's just it was a bounty weekend too.
So how many out of 38 starts? How many DNFs you got?
Just that one.
What's that tell you? So it means he comes prepared. His crew's got him prepared. He's in good equipment. You had 38 starts. He did not finish only one race. So he's 37 out of 38. And out of those 37 races, he's won 25. I'll take that all day long. What do you attribute to the success? Because you've had good runs, you've had good years, but as you said, this has been to the top of the mountain.
When we first started this year, we were destined to do everything it takes to make the car the best. And we bought some equipment, set up equipment to enhance the race car, make it better at the shop. I've got the Gale Force systems with us now. We go to the pull down as much as possible. We utilize every option that is possible to make this car faster. A lot of people say you're cheating, but really, when you're fast, and that's just an easy way to say I'm cheating. Just an easy way to say it. But I don't know.
Would that be professional jealousy to a point?
Could be. I don't know. It's just we ain't figured it out yet either. But we've heard it all year long. But it is what it is. We don't let that stuff, the non-fiction stuff, bother us. We still stay hard at it in the shop. We don't quit. We were good. We still, attempt to make our stuff better, and we're not going to quit. And so, no matter what anybody says or anything does, we're going to come back and we're going to hit harder. So I was saying, I'm going to say it, and you probably heard it before, but life hits hard, right? Everything hits hard.
Yeah.
But it's not all about how hard you hit, it's how hard you take a hit.
That's it.
So, let them keep hitting, because we can take them.
There you go. Old Kyle Busch the other night, when he got out there and he swept Bristol, and the guy said, see all the boo birds up there? There wasn't very many, but there were some boos because the guy won 3 races at Bristol, toughest track in NASCAR. He said, let them boo.
They're booing. They know you. You're making noise.
Mason, let them make some noise. So, again, you had a bounty on you. We're talking to Chris Van Dyke, see on the screen, NASCAR driver, Kingsport Speedway, but at Lonesome Pine. You had a bounty on you. Is that correct?
Yeah, had a bounty over there.
What's that make you? When Bill told me that last week, we had Rick Hutzman came by the show, and they were talking about it, that there was a bounty, and they were promoting the fact there was going to be one. I'm thinking, now, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. I'm going to a track where they don't like me so bad, they're going to put money down so I can't win. That's got to make you, it's got to give you, I would think, get you kind of a little extra fired up, wouldn't it?
Well, I was surprised, which I figured it was coming. I figured it was coming. Most tracks, they did it at the Lee Poyam and last year at Motor Mile. But when I got to the track, we had done our normal thing, set up, we were ready to go. We worked all night long to get ready. But when we pulled into the racetrack, I kind of looked around and I was like, man, this place looks a little wet. Well, somebody during the night or that morning has came to the track and put down THC track adhesive on the bottom groove, the opposite that I run, but where everybody else runs. Try to enhance the racetrack performance to where these cars that's running on the bottom would have grip to try to beat me.
Wow.
So here we kind of roll into this little atmosphere, a little tweak in the program. And I'm like, all right. So I walk out there. I was like, let's see how sticky this stuff really is. So I walk out there, and your shoes actually stick to the hardtop. I was like, this is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a good race. And, everybody was pretty daggone fast on the bottom, qualifying. I didn't get the pole. Thomas Bean actually beat me by 5 thousandths of a second. We were on the high side. He qualified on the bottom. We were still pretty even. But really, man, got the race going, and it really didn't affect us any. The car was pretty good.
So I haven't heard, did you win?
Yeah, we were
I didn't realize
the
you
first
won.
race and drove on out through there. I mean, we done our thing, and
so nobody got that money.
But the second race, the engine actually let it loose by halfway through. We had to invert to 8th, and we had worked our way back, I think, 4th or going into 4th. I was actually on the outside of Hayden Woods, and we dropped off into 1. And I heard the motor. I heard something start fluttering out pretty good. Dropped the cylinder, and I looked out the window, didn't see no smoke. And I was like, well, shoot, maybe it's hit. Maybe he blew up. And then I realized it was actually us that blew up. Everybody was right there together, and there's a lot of noise. And usually if your motor starts going down like it was, it'd be smoking pretty good. But fortunately, our power plant let loose. But we got it fixed back and kind of got it crutched in. Got one more race weekend this weekend coming for the championship weekend. So we just kind of got to float through it.
Talking to Chris Van Dyke, again, you see at Kingsport Speedway coming up. We'll talk baseball with Greg Salyer. Also coming up, Joe Avento will join us from the Johnson City Press talking Buck Sports. They got the big football game coming up Saturday night and sold out William B. Green Jr. Stadium on the campus of East Tennessee State. So we'll talk to him, little Buck Sports coming up here in a little while. So Tropical Storm Harvey is supposed to be bringing some rain up there. I don't know if we'll be able to get the race Friday night or Saturday. They're talking tomorrow night into Fridays. We'll have to wait and see. They're talking, pretty good amount of rain coming off of this storm.
It's not going to rain though.
Okay. If it does, but if it does rain, what do you do? Do you pull the plug and go to another track? Do you just wait it out, wait till next week?
Depends on how much rain in the area and the region. See how far it kind of spreads out to where other tracks are. The way it's coming up through there and they're going to sweep around, it's kind of going to be on about everybody we race at.
So when the season's done, championship, do you go take your car and go down south somewhere? Are you done for the year? What happens to you after Kingsport Speedway wraps up?
Well, the 14th of September here in a couple of weeks, actually, we'll be in Martinsville Speedway testing for the Valley, I think it's Valleydale Credit Union 300. But it's the biggest late model event in the country. Usually about 100, 120 cars will show up for the event. It's $25,000 to win. Actually, Ford put in a bonus this year. It's an extra $5,000 for first place finish in this race bonus. So just saying, if we won the race, it'd be a $30,000 paycheck. And I think it's $2,500 for second, $1,000 for third as bonuses from Ford Motorsports. So it's a pretty good little deal. It's a big event. It's going to be the first night race in history at Martinsville Speedway. So of any NASCAR driver, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. and all them other big names, they'll never get this chance to win the first race at Martinsville. We are.
That's pretty cool.
So it's going to be pretty cool. Whoever lands in victory lane will have will be making history. So it's going to be a big event. They're actually expected to have record amount of crowd there for this race. First night race in history. I mean, they got these new LED lights up there. I've seen them, and they're very impressive. The best looking lighting system I've seen at a racetrack and ever. I mean, it's really nice.
You got to be honored. You got to be a thrill for you to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big event, man. I mean, it's just it's a feeling when you walk in that place. It's like walking into Bristol. It's amazing, and to be able to race at these big tracks, it's different, but it's a lot of fun. It's a challenge to us. We always run good there anyway in the past, so we finished third there last year and finished second there in 2002. We've got some pretty good history there, so we plan on taking a great car up there and a great crew and hopefully bring this thing back.
37 out of 38 starts this year, so have you gotten the attention of anybody yet? I mean, I would think somebody, Truck Series or somebody somewhere looking at going, that Van Dyke guy in Kingsport, he can turn a wheel. I mean, are you getting any nibbles?
I've talked to a few people, and there's a few things that are kind of in the brew. We just have to kind of see how it kind of filters out. And, we are starting it's Chris Van Dyke Racing, right? But we are going to turn it into Chris Van Dyke Racing and Development Program. I want to start a driver development program as well as race team as well. So it's kind of going to turn into more of a business than just a race team as well. It's kind of going to be training these young guys that's coming up. I kind of want to work hand to hand with them as well. So a lot of this new talent that's actually interested in getting into late model racing and limited late model racing, we're going to be looking and talking and willing and dealing.
Top 10 in points in the country right now is what you said?
Yep.
So for folks, kind of educate us before I let you go here. You're trying to win Kingsport Speedway and Lonesome Pine, but there's a bigger fish out there. You get points on the national scene, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, everything goes into a percentile point base that the national deal has. It's all based on car count, finish order, so on. And it's kind of complicated, you know. Takes a little bit, you know. You just once you figure it out, you kind of know how it works out. But anyway, it's they record the top 500 in the nation. There's a lot more than 500 race car drivers in the nation, but to be on that recording, you got to be in the top 500. And it's on the NASCAR website on the home tracks. You can look at it and see the whole top 500. But it's very hard to run in the top 10. It's hard to run in the top 20. You know, you've got a lot of people out here at these tracks. I'm racing against like Lee Poyam and Trevor Hudson and Gord Shepard. And them guys are from like Gord Shepard's from Ontario, Canada. Trevor Hudson from Irwindale, California. You know, you got Lee from on the East Coast here in this area. You know, there's a lot more racetracks. Them guys have got one racetrack in Sunset that Gord runs at, one racetrack. So, you know, they got all the cars. If you're going to build a race car and you're going to race, you got to race there. So car count's pretty good to get. You know, they can get car count pretty easy. These tracks in this area that we're racing in, you know, we've got 20 racetracks around here, you know, within 6 or 7 hours. And these drivers can go just anywhere they want to. If one gets mad here, they can go over here to another track, you know, if they're not running for track points. So the cars kind of get spreaded out. And the car counts are hard to get every now and then. You get lucky, you get one, then you get lucky and you don't get any. But, you know, you're racing against all these guys. The top 10 right now, there's 3 of us in the top 10 that's on the East Coast. That is hard to get car count. And Lee's running at Myrtle Beach, which they get good car count. Philip Morris is at South Boston and Motor Mile, which is kind of about average, about like what we've got, but they've had some good car counts. And us down here in Kingsport and the Lonesome Pine area, you know, and Hickory, I mean, it's just, it's amazing, and we're really blessed to be where we're at. It's just, it's been a good ride, and, you know, we're never ready for it to be over with, but when it is over, we're ready to get it started again.
Last question, of course, we talked off there. We've losing Junior, we've lost Tony Stewart, lost Jeff Gordon. We've lost, of course, Carl Edwards came out of the sport. That's a lot of fan bases that we've lost. So, in your humble opinion, as a driver of NASCAR, if I put you as the commissioner or the head honcho, what would you do to change things? What would you do to get the crowds back? Although we had a tremendous crowd at Bristol Motor Speedway a couple of weeks ago, probably the biggest crowd, I think, I was told, of the entire year so far. It even surpassed the Daytona 500. So, what would Commissioner Van Dyke do to bring NASCAR back if you could?
Man, you know, you've seen a lot of things that they've done already. And, you know, some has worked, some hasn't. And sometimes, you know, just they've got to be something that's causing these people not to, you know, want to come. You know, I think there's something to do with the ticket price, and I don't know. You hear that stuff. You hear a lot of different people's comments and stuff. And I hang around Bristol a whole lot. And, you know, a lot of people talk about the racetrack has changed. But really, I don't think that's the problem, because you get some of the best racing, side-by-side racing. It's not always having to bump somebody out of the way. I mean, these fans they don't want to just see a wreck or somebody tear their stuff up. They want to see a good race. And I don't know any other racetrack in the country that would prevail a race as good as Bristol. I mean, do you?
No.
And
I'm watching Kyle Busch up there last 2 Saturdays ago in the turns at 120, splitting 2 cars. I'm thinking,
right,
that on the front stretch, this is in the turns.
Right, maybe they should have.
That's racing, brother.
But,
would you not agree? I mean, that's racing.
I agree. You know, it's just, but my opinion with NASCAR, you know, these guys are leaving the sport. And, you know, they're retiring. You know, it's just like any sport. Everybody's going to come and go. I don't think that's you know, we can't just rely on somebody's being there all the time. They're not going to be there all the time. You know, Junior Johnson wasn't there all the time. Richard Petty wasn't there all the time. But we still made it from that point to this point. You know, we can't rely on just losing Junior and losing Stewart. I mean, these guys are still part of the, you know, they're part of the show. They're going to be part of the show. We see Jeff Gordon on TV announcing all the time. You know, I'm sure the fans are still there, and they pull for the 24 car. no matter if Chase Elliott's in it or William Byron's going to be in it this year coming up. I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out, but these guys, kind of freak out when you start seeing these big names starting to leave the sport.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't think that's going to be a problem, because all us other guys that are sitting here waiting, that's the way it's supposed to work. One leaves, one comes in. So, I mean, I feel like that the fans will take care of themselves, and they'll start adapting and overcoming the event. Everybody kind of freaks out at the moment, but I think at the end of the day, everything will work out.
Grass Van Dyke, NASCAR driver, Kingsport Speedway. If they race Friday night, I hope they do. I'm not trying to be a doomsday, but there is some rain coming. But if they can race Friday night, you're more than likely going to bring home that championship, right? It's pretty much a foregone conclusion. You're going to be the big daddy.
It's pretty close, man. It's we've kind of got the state title all the way wrapped up and everything. We got a 60-point lead down there, so I mean it's pretty well wrapped up. But I don't ever like to count my chickens to their hatch.
No.
Just kind of take it as it comes. At the end of the race, when we load up the trailer, go home, I'll let you know.
There you go. As my team, the Raiders, say, just win, baby. That's all you got to just win.
Everything will follow where it's supposed to be.
You got it. By the way, one of his two great sponsors are two of our sponsors, Food City and Grip Energy Drink on his shirt. So, and his lovely bride works for Grip, and so she's out pounding the pavement as we speak, selling Grip, and it's buy one, get one free at Food City right now. So a big thanks to Al Biker and Ryan and all the folks at Grip and at Food City. Those two of his great sponsors on the car.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everybody's help, and it's just that's part of the family, and everybody's it takes everybody's willpower and a little bit here and a little bit there to make it all work.
Little wheels go around, make the big wheel work,
That's
right?
That's right. Snowball.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate you all. Thank y'all for having us on here. I always enjoy it.
Yep, quick break. We'll be right back. We'll go from NASCAR to baseball next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show Live, show number 583. Brought to you by, as you see right here, the good folks at Grip Energy Drink here at Chick-Fil-A in the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Oh, boom. There we go. We're back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. We're here live at Chick-fil-A, the Crossing in North Johnson. You see him right there, and he is our man, Greg Salyer. See, he's on the cutting edge because there's a trade just went down. He's got on his phone. I mean, this is hot off the press. What's going on?
Yeah, the Mariners just traded for Mike Leake from the St. Louis Cardinals. Gave up an infielder that I've never heard of before and picked up Mike Leake and some international bonus pool money from the Cardinals. So,
okay. Wow. Well, why would the Mariners go after Mike Leake?
Well,
I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, Mike Leake is an innings eater. I mean, let's face it, he does pitch a lot of innings. And he has been somewhat effective for the Cardinals this year. And the Mariners are pretty close, to the wild card there. They're 3 games back in the wild card.
Okay.
So they're trying to do anything. They're still 1 game under 500, but only 3 games back for the wild card. So they're trying to do anything they can to catch those teams that are ahead of them and pull on up.
Donna Greg Salyer, the Major League Baseball update. Let's run down the scoreboard from last night in no particular order. A couple of rainouts. First off, Braves and Phillies rained out. Indians and Yankees rained out last night, so their front went up through, obviously, Philadelphia and New York. Games that got played, Orioles red hot. They've won, they won 7 out of 10. We'll double check here in just a second. They're a red hot baseball team. They beat the Mariners 4-0. Nationals over the Marlins 8-3. Another big night for Mr. Stanton. We'll talk about that coming up. Red Sox blanked the Blue Jays 3-0. Oh, Greg's Reds, double digit. Beat the Mets 14-4. I know we're going to talk about that because that don't happen often.
Ranger, 5 runs in the first inning.
There you go.
Grand slam.
No wonder he came in with a big smile on his face like a Cheshire cat. Rangers beat the Astros 12-2. Cardinals over the Brewers 10-2. Cubs beat the Pirates 4-1. Twins over the White Sox 6-4. Royals beat the Rays 6-2. Rockies over Detroit 7-3. We've got an update on Daniel Norris. It was the Diamondbacks in a rare loss for the Dodgers 7-6. Let's see. Padres beat the Giants 6-3. And those are your finals again from Major League Baseball here from yesterday and last night. And so let's take a look at the standings real quick. In the American League East, Boston with a 4-game lead over the Yankees. Baltimore has won 6 in a row, 7 out of the last 10. They're red hot. American League Central, Cleveland 5 in a row, 7 of the last 10. They lead Minnesota 6.5. The gap is widening. American League West, Houston continues to have a double-digit lead, this time 12 games over the Los Angeles Angels. In the National League, Washington, 14-game lead over Miami. They've won 3 straight, 7 of their last 10. In the Central, Cubs, 2 straight. They've won 7 of their last 10. They lead the Milwaukee Brewers by 3.5. Cardinals 5 back. In the NL West, you've got the Dodgers have lost 3 in a row. And Arizona, for all intents and purposes, are out of it, but they're very much in a wild card. And so they've won 5 in a row and 7 out of the last 10. So that's kind of the streaks right now for Major League Baseball. Let's go down these real quick. Go down the divisional races. Boston, New York. You throw Baltimore in the fray, or are they out of it?
I don't think Baltimore's out of it. I think you got to say they at least have a chance at this point. I don't know what good it's going to do them if they do win the division or even win the wild cards. I think their pitching may be good enough to help them get to the playoffs, but I don't think it'll get them through a playoff series, a short series. I don't see them pulling it out.
Sale has struggled, as a matter of fact, the Red Sox guy. Has he not?
Yeah, he has. He just became the fastest pitcher in Major League Baseball history to get to 1,500 strikeouts. I think it's something like 1,290 innings that he threw to get to 1,500 strikeouts. Fastest one ever. You know who was before him as the fastest of 1,500 strikeouts?
It's going to be a Red, right?
No,
I have no clue.
Kerry Wood.
Oh.
Kerry Wood. Surprised me just a little bit, but then I remembered, back when he first came up, he was striking out everybody. I'll go out on a limb, though, and make a prediction. Chris Sale will not pass Nolan Ryan for career strikeouts.
Don't think?
Don't think so. Don't think it's going to happen.
See, well, here's the thing, too. This last month of the season, it's a lot of inter-division play, so Orioles are 8 back, but I guess they can catch fire. These guys, some can get hot, some can fold. Central, Cleveland, a 6.5 game lead over Minnesota. Kansas City, 9.5 out. We'll get into the wild card here in a second, but Cleveland's kind of their baby to lose now, right?
Yeah, it is. I can't see anybody catching Cleveland at this point. I think they're going to win that division. You know what? Minnesota is an intriguing team for me. Byron Buxton is showing why he was the number 1 prospect in baseball for 2 years in a row and is playing well. Minnesota, they're a young team, and I just don't think they know that they're not supposed to win. I think the team kind of gave up at the trade deadline. They didn't do anything. I think they felt like they weren't going to do anything. But look at where they are. They're in the second wild card right now in the American League. And, I think it's a surprise to their management as much as it is to anyone else that they are where they are.
You see on the screen, we're talking to Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball update. We have him every week. We're lucky to have him. This guy knows baseball forwards and backwards. And, oh, by the way, he's a pretty good preacher, too. He can shuck the corn in the pulpit. Houston, 12-game lead over the Angels, who've won 2 in a row. Houston, it's theirs. Of course, they're the best team in the American League right now, record-wise. So they still maintain that spot. Obviously, they're headed to the playoffs. In the National League, we'll get into the wild card again here in a minute. Washington, 3 in a row, 7 of the last 10. They lead Miami by 14. That one's done.
Yeah.
In the Central, Cubs. You got the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, and I guess outside looking in, maybe the Pirates because they're playing all these interdivisional games, but pretty much it's a 3-horse race, right?
Yeah, it is. Pirates are going to have to get really, really hot if they're going to contend for the Central Division. They played the Reds over the weekend. I got to see them play, and they were impressive at times, and then there were times they were not impressive at all. So they're going to have to be more consistent. And, you can't say they're out of it, but I think they're a long shot at this point.
Dodgers, 91-39, a 70% winning percentage. Incredible.
But they've lost 3 in a row. So yeah, they've only done that. They've only done that twice this season, and the other time I think was in April. So
they are human.
Here's the interesting thing about the Dodgers. Here's something that we need to talk about them. They can potentially win 110-plus games this year. They're 19 games away from that, 19 wins away from that. If they do that, they're going to do that with no starting pitcher making 30 starts, no hitter with 100 RBIs, and no base runner scoring 100 runs for the season.
So they're purely defining the team concept then, all the way around.
They are. Now, saying that, I will say this. Cody Bellinger is key to that team. They have done exceptionally better with him in the lineup than without him in the lineup. So he's a big deal when it comes to that team. But the Dodgers are definitely the best team in baseball. They could still break the record for most wins in a season. At this point, I think it's not as much of a lock as I thought it was last week, but they could still do it.
Here is the schedule for today. First off, in the American League, Cleveland day game. We got, 3-day games. Cleveland against the Yankees. Seattle, Baltimore. Detroit at Colorado. Tonight under the lights, Boston with Porcello on the mound in Toronto. Texas at Houston. They're playing that one in St. Petersburg. Dallas Keuchel.
Dallas Keuchel, yes.
11-2 on the hill. I'm still trying to learn this guy. I never do say it right. Dallas Keuchel.
It's not spelled that way, but that's how you pronounce it.
Dallas Keuchel, 11-2. They're playing in St. Petersburg tonight because of Harvey. Chicago at Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and Oakland against the Los Angeles Angels. In the National League, day game, Braves with Toronto on the mound in Philadelphia against the Phillies, obviously. St. Louis day game in Milwaukee. Day game, Detroit, as we said, at Colorado. Day game, Miami at Washington. Under the lights tonight, the Mets in Cincinnati with Homer Bailey on the mound. Pittsburgh at Chicago. That's an interesting series there. Quintana's on the mound tonight for the Cubbies against Nova for the Pirates, who's 11-11. San Francisco will be at San Diego, and the Dodgers in Arizona. That's your schedule for tonight. All right. Orioles. Dylan Bundy, first career shutout. Struck out 12, issued only 2 walks. Pretty good night for Bundy. Again, Dylan Bundy, Manny Machado homered twice. So Orioles beat the Mariners 4-0.
Yeah, Machado's on fire right now. Every time you turn around, I get notifications on my phone for the Orioles, and it's like all the time my phone's just popping up saying Manny Machado has an RBI. It's been the last week or so. It's been crazy how often that's happened.
And so that's going on there in Baltimore. But let's take a look at the wild card. This is what everybody's interested in, and as well they should be. In the National League, I gave you 5 teams. Arizona, Colorado, Milwaukee, the Marlins, and the Cardinals.
Yeah, if I was going to go on a limb, right now I think Arizona's pretty much going to win one of those 2 wild cards. I think they're a good enough team that they're going to maintain what they've been doing for the last month of the season and do it. Colorado, I think, is iffy. They have a 4-game lead over Milwaukee, but they have not played well as of late. And we'll see what happens. They played a little better last few days, but I'll be anxious to see what happens with them. I think Milwaukee or maybe even Miami. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton is on fire. He seems like he hits at least 1 home run every game now, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the season there. But I think Colorado may pull it off, but they're going to have to be a little more consistent than they have been.
There's some teams looking at Stanton for the rest of this season, 2018. Cardinals, the Phillies. I just went blank. Who's the 4 teams? Cardinals, Phillies. I left it at home. Anyway, there's 4 teams wanting Stanton to pull out of Miami and pick up his option for 2018. Heading down the stretch.
They better do it today or tomorrow, though.
Yes. This is it.
Or he can't go to the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. So he has to be on the roster by the end of August, or he can't go to the playoffs.
Did not know that. See, that's why we have Greg on. He's way ahead of me on this stuff, and that's good.
He can help them get there, but he would not be able to be on the roster for the playoffs. I
was trying to see if it was in here, and it's not. It's some stuff I brought yesterday. But anyway, Stanton being courted by 4 different teams, and they got to make a wheel and deal pretty quick to get him in there. So there's your 5 teams in the National League. American League, totally different story.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8 teams in the hunt in the wild card.
Yeah, I love the fact that we've got this many teams in it for the wild card in the American League. That's going to go down to the wire. That's going to go down to the last day or 2 of the season, I believe, and maybe even a playoff. We had a playoff, I think, last year, and that'd be great to see another one of those. Baltimore has gotten back in it. They're a game and a half back for the wild card, so they're right there with the Angels. We talked last week. I'd love to see Mike Trout in the playoffs, but the Yankees, odds-on favorite to probably get one of those 2. And like I said, Minnesota, who would have thought it after a 100-loss season last year that they would be in position for the second wild card at this point in time. But that's where they are. I think the teams with the losing record right now that are still pretty close, within 3.5 games, they're going to have to crank it up a notch, but it's not undoable. So they still have a chance.
Well, the thing about the Twins, too, they lost 100 games, and they cleaned out the front office. So you got to figure, anytime you clean out a corporate front office, there's a learning curve, there's an adjustment period, but they've apparently put the right people in place and the right pieces of the puzzle because they've jumped right in there. I know the Twins here locally, up and down the franchise, they're having pretty good seasons in all the minor leagues. So Twins are going to be in the playoffs coming up in the Appalachian League. So Minnesota, the surprise team, they're going from 100 losses last year to right now they're 5 over, 68-63 on the season. So the Yankees, Minnesota, Baltimore, the Angels. I like to see, just because I like Albert Pujols, what he represents as a Christian athlete, I love to see the Angels get in there and make some noise. Seattle, Kansas City, Texas, and Tampa Bay are the teams again in the wild card race in the American League. We're talking to Greg Sawyer. Again, the Major League Baseball update coming up next. My man is in the house talking Buck Sports, Joe Avento. I'm going to say Joe will probably be in the stands Saturday night at the William B. Green Jr. Stadium to cover the Buck football. Would that be a foregone conclusion?
Probably so.
You can take that's going to be about as certain as there's going to be rain tomorrow from Harvey here in the region. You can take that one to the bank. Joe's going to be in. He's going to talk not only Buck football but Buck sports coming up here in just a minute or two. What else going on in baseball you want to share with us?
We need to talk about Rice Hoskins for just a minute. This guy that the Phillies have brought up, he's done something no one else has ever done. Fastest ever to get 10 home runs for his career. 17 games it took him to hit his 10th home run. This time, last year, who were we talking about? We were talking about Trevor Story and Gary Sanchez. Came up and started hitting home runs like crazy. This year, it's been Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge. That's the guys we've been talking about. But nobody in Major League Baseball history has hit 10 home runs in 17 games other than Rice Hoskins, that now plays left field for the Phillies. And he hit his 11th home run in his 18th game. So, and by the way, he started a triple play. I don't know if you saw that or not, but he was playing left field for the Phillies, made a shoestring catch, dropped the ball, taking it out of his glove, still made the throw to second. They threw on to first and completed a triple play against the Cubs. Of course, Joe Madden challenged it, didn't have a prayer to win that challenge. The only chance he had was if for some reason he didn't make the catch, but he did. It was clear. And started a triple play. So, some guys play their whole careers and aren't involved in a triple play.
Exactly.
He did it in the first 2 weeks that he's been in the major leagues.
I want to get your take on this situation. Of course, Harvey happening down in Texas, but the Texas Rangers in Houston, Texas would not let them come play their series. They're playing in St. Petersburg. So, according to the Astros president, they said the Rangers want us to play the next 3 days of their place. They didn't want to trade the series with us. They want all 6 of our games at their ballpark. Now, why would they do that?
Yeah, I listened to John Daniels, the Rangers GM, talk about that, and I sort of understand his reasoning, and then again, I don't.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, and one of his thoughts was he said, we've sold tickets for these 3 games in the future, and I think it's something like 30,000 tickets they've already sold for these 3 games. And he said, our people have made plans. Our fans have made plans to be at that game. Now, here's the thing. If it's local fans, okay, I understand that. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But if it's somebody like me, I'm 6 hours away from Cincinnati. I go there to see a game sometimes. And sometimes I'll buy a ticket to go to a game just because I'm going to be in town. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of other people do that as well. And people have done that. And he was looking at that and saying, okay, so we don't want those people, we don't want to have to give them their money back for one thing. Or give them a rain check or whatever. So we would like to keep those games, and I understand that. I understand that concept entirely. But this is a catastrophe, and you've got to be able to be flexible.
Yep.
And I mean,
unprecedented catastrophe.
In the long run, I mean, I love baseball as much as anybody, but baseball means nothing compared to what's going on in Texas right now.
That's what I keep saying.
Let's do whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
If you can play the games, play the games. If you can't, don't worry about it. But the important thing is what's going on there right now. And Tampa Bay stepped up and said, "Hey, come to our place and play," and that's what they're doing. So I can see his point, but I don't know that I necessarily say that I would have stood on that ground.
When you have people on rooftops, and I've seen the video, flagging down helicopters to save their loved ones and their pets, they're on top of the eave of the roof. That's all they got. Everything else underwater. Baseball game seems very, very inconsequential to me.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just wrong, but I made a prediction on this show yesterday, and I was right. The president showed up down there. This is totally off the board, but I got to get my digs in. The president showed up yesterday, and I made this statement. They'll be on him for something. He didn't do something right. God is my witness. They're on her because she wore her high heels coming off Air Force One. Well, she changed into shoes, and the running shoes, and they said the running shoes didn't match her outfit. Okay. I predicted that whatever he did was going to be wrong, and it was. Then they said, well, he didn't really go to where it was really bad. He just went out off the beaten path out where the recovery center was, where the governor was. Well, His response was, I'm not going to go down with all the Secret Service, get down in the middle of this when trying to recover people and looking for, going door to door, house to house. I'm going to stay out of the way. I'm going back in there. I'm coming back Saturday. I said, okay. Let me tell you one more time, as I've said countless times, when back in my home state last June in West Virginia, we had over 20 people lose their lives. Not one time did our then president make an appearance in the flood-ravaged areas of West Virginia. I'm done.
And, the media didn't mention it.
Never mentioned it. No, never said a word. He was busy, I guess, playing golf. But Norris's groin injury making another rehab start tomorrow for Triple-A Toledo. Norris made a rehab start last Saturday with Toledo that was expected to be his final one before returning to the majors. It is entirely possible Detroit's going to keep him off the roster until it expands for September for call-up at the end of the week. We are cheering for Daniel Norris to get back up there and pitch in Detroit, representing all of us here in Tennessee and certainly in Northeast Tennessee. Plus, Daniel Norris is a good kid, and I'm pulling for him to get back up to the bigs.
Absolutely, yeah. We want to see him in the majors. We want to see him get that service time in at the end of the season this year. Let's face it, for the Tigers, we're not going anywhere. But let's see him there, and that'll at least give us a reason to watch the Tigers here in the Tri-Cities.
She just killed the Tiger fan base. She said, "Folks, they're not going anywhere, so let him."
My team's not either, so
no.
So I can say that.
No, that's a certainty that the Reds aren't going anywhere. Now, last question: the Yankees and Tigers had a little brush up last week.
Yeah.
And the suspensions are coming out, and now we got people mad because they said they're privileged character because he was involved. They didn't suspend him, so we got stuff flying back and forth. I don't think they play each other the rest of the year, but what was your take on the little base brawl they had?
I've heard so much about this. The only thing I will say about it is I was disappointed that Gary Sanchez only got 4 games. I thought that he and Miguel Cabrera should have had similar suspensions. Both of them, I think, really brought it on.
That was the 2 at home plate. That's what got started.
No, that was Austin Romine and Cabrera. But what Sanchez did was, he was going around sucker punching guys. His
That's
teammates.
Baseball.
His teammates would have a guy on the ground with his arms pinned to the ground, and he's going around punching them in the face. And I'm like, dude, come on. He did this numerous times during that. And, so I'm watching this and I'm thinking, I don't have a lot of respect for a guy who's going around hitting a guy that can't defend himself, to be honest. So I thought his suspension probably wasn't as much as it should have been. Unfortunately for that whole situation, I blame the umpires. They lost control of that game early. They didn't do what they needed to do to maintain control. They didn't make the warnings to the benches early enough, and they just let it go, and they paid the price for it for sure. And I'm sure they heard about it from the league. If you look at it, they just weren't in control at all of that game, and that's just not how it has to be.
2 toughest parts of the sports this weekend for me was Matthew Stafford's only going to make $27 million this year in 16 games. And McGregor said, I made $100 million, but I'm not sure it's enough. I'm thinking it's not enough. How can you not live on $100 million? Mayweather made $350, McGregor made $100, and McGregor said he doesn't know he can make it on $100 million. God bless him. I believe he can buy a lot of Pop-Tarts at Food City for $100 million. Anyway, good stuff. I'm telling you, it's fun to come do this show because it's sometimes can be way out of balance. What is going on at the church house Sunday?
Sunday, we're in the middle of our series on when God changes your name, and this week we have finally gotten to the New Testament. We're going to be looking at Peter and really looking at some interesting things dealing with Caesarea Philippi and how that is going to make a huge difference in the passage of Scripture that we're looking at in Matthew chapter 16.
I'm going to be speaking again. One of these days I'll be back. So, anyway, he's my man at Major League Baseball Update. Are you hungry?
Yes, sir.
Get yourself something good to eat. We're going to go from baseball to the Bucks. My man Joe Avento is in the house. He joins us next year on show number 583 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. There he is, my man. I'm glad to have him back. We've had him on, had him at Sprint, had him back over here. This is his 3rd trip in. Joe Vento of the Johnson City Press. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Great. How you doing, Tom?
Good. Love a guy with the beard, man. He's got got a cool beard going there, and my man Joe's in the house, and so it is an exciting time. Of course, he covers the Buccaneers for East Tennessee State University for the Johnson City Press.
The Johnson City Press.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got sideways. Covers the Bucs of ETSU for the Johnson City Press, and since we've had you on last, we've named the stadium. We're getting ready to dial this thing in big time, get ready for a football game Saturday. So kind of give me an overview of what's going on.
Well, they named the stadium after Bill Green, and here's a funny side tidbit. I sent Bill a text 2 days before asking him who the stadium's going to be named after, and I mean, it makes sense that he was one of the guys that could do something like that, but I really wasn't thinking in that direction. I was just wanting some help, and he kind of ignored me. I think he thought I was onto something. I actually really wasn't. But
he thought you were trying to get a tip.
Yeah, and I was just wanting some help, thinking I thought I knew who it was going to be named after, but I was wrong. Good thing I didn't print it. So anyway, yes. The stadium it's really something. I spent a minute over there last night with my dad. We went over the soccer game. We stopped at the football stadium. It even smells like a new stadium.
Really?
Get on the field, it's just something about it. It's really sharp. I think right now the only thing that I could see could be a downfall is, at least in the beginning, is I don't think they have enough seats. It's 7,600 seats, and there's room to expand. And I got a feeling they'll expand. They wanted it to become a tough ticket first, and they wanted the fans to give them a reason to have to add more seats. And if the program does well, they will. Maybe the initial euphoria will pack it, and then reality will set in, and they'll go back to having less than capacity crowds. But right now, I can see that being a little problem, and it's a problem they're probably happy to have.
Yeah, happy problem. So they will open up against Limestone. We'll talk about that in a second. Then they come back. They travel to James Madison, and the Bucks come back home to the Citadel. They also have Mercer at home. They also have Robert Morris at home. They also have Wofford at home and VMI, and that's it.
Yep.
So really nice home schedule coming up. Tickets are still available, but again, Saturday night's game is standing room only. Limestone, people keep asking me, where's Limestone? I said, it's not a very big school. They're not known for their football prowess, and that was by design. So I think there could be a butt whooping coming up on Saturday night.
Well, Limestone has been playing football for one more year than ETSU. They just started their program as well.
There you go.
Not counting the previous ETSU football. But Limestone's in Gaffney, South Carolina. They're in the same conference as Tusculum and Carson Newman. And they're a Division II team. And it's just like when ETSU basketball signs a contract to go play Kentucky or these big schools. No offense to ETSU or anybody, but they're not bringing you in to win.
No.
And ETSU's not bringing Limestone in to win.
No.
They try to increase their chances of winning their home opener by bringing in a Division II school. Of course, we saw what happened with this program when they brought in a couple of Division III schools 3 seasons ago. But that team was, you can't compare ETSU's team from back then to where they are now. I would guess if they would play those same 2 teams again, they would beat them by 50 points. So.
I call these teams, not just this game coming up, but the big boys too. When Indiana State comes to Knoxville next Saturday, it's a checkbook game because they're going to write them a check. They're going to get their butts kicked, and they know that going in. I mean, you can win. App State went up and beat Michigan, the Big House, so it's not insurmountable. But the odds are they're not going to get the W. They're going to do it for a checkbook. For a check to go back and, you go get the kind of money that these smaller schools get when they play the big boys. They can buy a lot of shoulder pads and helmets, and they know that. So Limestone's coming in to get a check to help their program from the Bucks. Don't know what the amount is, doesn't matter. And then
and that being said, they're coming in to win.
Sure.
And they have some good players. They got an All-American defensive back and a good quarterback. So nobody takes anything for granted on the field once the game gets started.
Exactly.
But the plan is to bring in somebody that you have a better chance at beating.
On paper, it would be decidedly ETSU,
but if they played on paper, they wouldn't have spent $26 million on a stadium.
There you go. And ask Michigan the year that they played it on paper at the Big House. No, they played on the field, and App State went in and beat them. So,
right.
Southern Conference this week, by the way, you've got coming up Thursday night, tomorrow night, Jacksonville at Mercer, Sanford hosting Kennesaw State. On Saturday, Western Carolina, the Catamounts go to Hawaii. Boy, it's a tough trip there. Bless their hearts, going to Hawaii for a little sightseeing and football. VMI at the Air Force. Here's the conference opener, Furman at Wofford. By the way, a young man from Elizabeth and Cujo, Coleman, just signed a scholarship verbally to play football in Furman, which is pretty cool, from Elizabethton. Newberry at the Citadel, and Limestone, as we said, at East Tennessee State. All that coming up again this week, the Southern Conference opener for all the teams. And so it is a festive atmosphere at ETSU. Sanders steps away. Scott Carter, your new AD. We got a story about B.J. McKee coming back to be a part of the Buck coaching staff. So was it Kentucky they played on soccer, gave them a pretty good run?
I was at that game. I was off last night, and what do I do on my night off? I go out and watch an ETSU game. Took my dad, and it might have been the best soccer game I've seen at ETSU in all the years. It was 2 really good teams, and it was kind of an unfortunate ending for ETSU. They lost in the second overtime on kind of wasn't a fluky goal, but it wasn't. After 2 good goals earlier in the game, it was kind of an anticlimactic goal to end the game like that. But they lost 2-1 to Kentucky, and Kentucky was an NCAA tournament team last year. But don't call Kentucky an SEC school in soccer. That's what everybody thinks. But the SEC does not have men's soccer. Kentucky's in Conference USA, as is South Carolina. So it's for what that's worth.
Yeah, a little bit of trivia. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
A lot of people didn't know there was overtime last night either, because they're all leaving. And they started announcing the procedures, and they all came back.
And Joe said, "Don't go. We're still playing." So
I didn't even have my dad convinced, because he was ready to leave, and he didn't believe me. Everybody was leaving. I said, "Just wait. They're not done yet."
So we're talking again to Joe Vento, the Johnson City Press, talking Buck Sports. So football gearing up against Limestone, as we said. Soccer's doing well. Volleyball is up and running. And let's see what else is going on right now as far as fall sports.
Well, they're going to have the 20th edition of the Blackthorn Intercollegiate out at Blackthorn Club this October. It'll be the 20th year. It's the golf tournament. The first year they had it, Matt Kuchar was playing for Georgia Tech, and the crowds were so big, they actually had 4 or 5 guys with a rope walking around with Kuchar. They didn't need ropes for the gallery. They just need ropes around Kuchar because everybody wanted to see him.
Wow.
He was the hottest name in amateur golf at the time, and he had made the cut in the Masters and the U.S. Open. He was still in college, so everybody knew him, and they came out to see him. And that's hard to believe that was 20 years ago. He didn't win it, but boy, they've had a lot of major winners playing that tournament and come through guys that are like top of the game. And some of them didn't even do well there. Jason Duffner, for example, PGA champion. I don't think he broke 75 at the what was known as the Ridges back then. But anyway, so golf's going on. Men's and women's soccer. Volleyball was picked to win the Southern Conference. Men's soccer was picked to win the Southern Conference. And even though they have not won a game yet in their first 2, they have a tie and an overtime loss. From what I saw last night, they're going to be right in the thick of things in the SoCon. The men's soccer team looked really good last night.
Here's a great article by Joe. It's in yesterday's edition of the Johnson City Press. I'm not going to do him justice, but there it is. And I would be, as I've said every week, a terrible weatherman. Week of first is on the top, and so
everything's new at the new stadium, and I can't wait till they actually play a game so I can start writing about football, because I have written every word there is to write about the stadium. And that being said, in tomorrow's Johnson City Press, we have an 8-page special section coming out about the new stadium.
Wow.
We have stories about the stadium, about the marching band, about tailgating, about parking. We have some player profiles. We have a story just about the man who runs the video board, and he's also basically the director for the ESPN3 streams of the games. I said it. He's the busiest guy in the stadium during the game because he's doing 2 full-time jobs. Anyway, that'll be in tomorrow's paper, and we've been working hard on that.
Joe's going to be with us tomorrow night, too, by phone, because tomorrow night on the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show, he's going to get in-depth about Limestone College. He's mentioned some of the guys. And let me back up and say, I'm not throwing off on Limestone College. I mean, they're going to come in here and try and win this game.
Absolutely.
On paper, they are decidedly an underdog. Everybody knows that. You're not going to bring in a powerhouse for the opening game of the first football game of the new stadium. You want a team that you feel like got a pretty good chance of defeating. But, again, I'm not throwing off on them. They have a chance to come in and beat this. There's a 50-50 chance to win the game.
They gave Carson Newman a good game last year while going 5-6. So I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Nobody's hammering them. It's just the fact. That's all.
Yeah. And so tomorrow night, Joe's going to by phone give us a little in-depth about the Limestone College football team and about the Buccaneers. So have you've been to practice some? I keep hearing they're looking more like a football team.
Well,
they're bigger,
that's
they're stronger.
And see, I've been out going to practice almost every day for a little over 3 weeks now, and it looks like a football team. I did the math kind of quick. I hope I was right, but I figured out on the preseason camp offensive linemen averaged 299.3 pounds. 3 years ago when they started this program, so the tackles that came in were 250 pounds. So they were getting pushed around by a non-scholarship school when they played Emory and Henry and Maryville College. That wouldn't happen now. These guys are big. Of course, that includes some of the freshmen who they're hoping to redshirt. They got 348-pounder that they're real high on, but they would just love to see him play 4 years from now instead of have him play a few snaps here and there as a freshman. They'd like to save him if they can. But they look so much bigger. They're so much deeper. They're all juniors now, basically. So youth is not an excuse. Inexperience is not an excuse. That being said, the schedule is much tougher. You mentioned the James Madison. That's the defending national champion. And if you look at their game-by-game last year, they put up 80 and 84 points in 2 games. So as much as Limestone's coming in here as an underdog, ETSU's going to James Madison as a bigger underdog. So, and they know that, but that's the kind of challenges they want. They went to Montana State the first year and just got destroyed. But but they want to play against some good teams and see how they stand. So my point is they're much better, they're bigger and faster, and just overall a lot better. But it might not translate into a better record. So 5 and 6 or 6 and 5 is kind of what I'm expecting this year. And even to do that, it's going to require some breaks along the way.
Sure. I mean, that's a pretty tough schedule. You got the Citadel and Chattanooga and Wofford.
Yeah.
I mean, Southern Conference has always been a very, very strong football conference.
And last year, Furman came in here, I think they were 0-5, and they just destroyed the Bucks. So, I mean, even the teams that you think are not very good in the Southern Conference are pretty good on the grand scheme of things. So.
And as Coach Torbush has said several times he's been on this show, we got to strap it on and play. We look pretty, we look better, but he said the guys on the other side of that field, they want to eat our lunch, and so we got to be ready to go. So
yeah, Don Riley said it years ago, and he said it. He made it so simple that everybody kind of laughed at him. But if you just peeled apart what he said and analyzed it, it was genius. He said it's hard to win. Of course, I think they were. I'm not sure they even won it. They might have won a game that year, so it was really hard that year. But if you really think about it, no matter what's going on with you, those other guys are working just as hard.
Oh, absolutely.
And they want to do the same thing. So maybe that was a comment that was ahead of its time.
It's hard to win. It is pretty profound. Cuts right to the chase,
doesn't it? It's so
it?
simple, but it's hard to argue with it.
There you go. All right, last thing, Bucks pick up a very big addition to the men's basketball team.
Well, B.J. McKee's, I believe he's South Carolina's all-time leading scorer, and it's just another thing that Steve Forbes does. I mean, when he needs something, he gets it. He loses his assistant, and I'm sure he would have preferred not to go through that, especially this time. Well, there's never a good time for that. But so when he lost Brian Collins, he has connections, and I got a feeling if B.J. McKee didn't come in, he would have had somebody else good too. So, but that's pretty neat to get a guy that is an all-time leading scorer at a school in the SEC and has a decade and a half of professional basketball under his belt. He'll be able to help those guys know what they're looking at when their careers are over, and that'll just be interesting to see how he does as a recruiter overall. But right now, Forbes is looking pretty good.
Oh yeah, of course the Bucks went up in attendance across the board, and for Dormady.
I was going to say.
No, Dormady will start. He will play.
I was going to say Austin Herring as ETSU's quarterback. That's what I'm here talking about. That being said, his backup, Nick Sexton, has had an incredible fall. I watched practice a lot. He's on target, and accuracy had been his little problem.
One of the things too, before I let you go, that I think ETSU's done a great job. They have mixed the out-of-town talent with the local talent. So they're going to put some fannies in the seats. They got some local kids, they got some out-of-town kids, and I think they've done a good job of fusing the two. So you have out-of-town, but you also have some local kids that'll put fannies in the seats.
Well, they're always wanting local kids, and Torbush kind of considers local as a pretty big radius. And obviously, that's the ones they're going to see first. The problem with the local guys is sometimes you get a local guy and he doesn't play. People get a little unhappy. That happens more in basketball than football.
Yeah.
In football, the roster kind of tends to absorb a lot of players. When school started, was it 2 days ago, they went from 105 that they had in preseason camp, that's all they can have before school starts, to 138 players on the team. And I asked if they had that many helmets, and one of the equipment managers said, I think we got about 150 helmets. And, a lot of those guys are walk-ons paying their own way. And without anybody ever telling me that, I think bringing in those walk-ons helps pay some of the bills because those guys are paying tuition.
There you go.
They're paying for those helmets.
Joe Vento, Johnson City Press tomorrow, big pull-out, a big sectional in the stadium in Buck football.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Section D. So the sports are Section B. Don't stop there. Just keep on going.
Keep going.
Yes.
And Joe's a large contributor to that, so it's good stuff. And, of course, you got Birchfield back. That's good.
Well, I was just going to say that. You said I'm a large contributor to that, but we just recently got Jeff Birchfield back. And put this in sporting terms, if I was a baseball team, it would have been like I just got my starting shortstop,
sure,
my ace starter, and my closer all back in one guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much he contributes to our staff.
He's incredible.
He's a hard worker, and he's one of my best friends. So I'm glad he went to Florida for a while. I'm glad he came back.
Yep, we're glad he's back too. Good guy. Went down there. Sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side. I've been down that road.
Oh, so. I have too. I was a sports editor at the Chattanooga Times for 4 days in 1990. I moved everything I owned down there, and I called the moving company, and I said, the keys under the mat, bring it all back.
Elvis is leaving the building after 4 days, so we're glad Birchfield's back. I'm glad you're here. You're a funny guy. You know that? I love having this guy on the show. He is so cool. And so we'll look forward to hearing from you tomorrow night by phone. You can give us a little preview of the Bucks and Limestone, a little bit more in depth, right?
Yeah, and if it's not raining, I may be talking to you from the perch at Cardinal Park. So that could make it even more interesting. Because anybody who knows what the perch is.
We know what the perch is, so get you something to eat, my friend.
All right.
This guy's so cool. Yes, sir. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll talk NASCAR. Some big news, again, involving Chase Elliott. We'll tell you all about that to wrap up the show next here at Chick-Fil-A on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 583.
Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up is a really cool every Thursday. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be coming off of us.
Be looking at the Big East
up
Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbins men's sides and all those.
Did you get away, like shut it off?
Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week.
Good.
Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
Good for you. We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom at Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star
right at Panama City.
And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel.
I've never been up there.
Lots
of a lot of restaurants
against
and stuff.
you and you against us. And I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you.
Is it chains or mom and pop
restaurants? No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to leather, man.
Toe to leather,
ready to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here.
Took off driving there, what is it, 7 or 8 hours
in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Oh. At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave
First One
Onge.
Now. And we got coming
All
up,
you.
it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what?
Maybe some put on
That's
this
the Big East
on the
Conference.
sports show. Ooh, that would
Is
be
it
Dobbins,
regional
Science,
or-
and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
So I've got
All those. Carmichael's
West
Virginia,
Virginia,
to give us the big
Kentucky,
5
North
games
Carolina,
every
South
week because it is a
Carolina,
5-star
Tennessee,
football preview show. So
Pennsylvania,
hope you'll
New
join us
York,
every Thursday
Ohio.
right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us. And I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready to
man.
go.
$60
$60 a month
Can't
off
wait.
somebody. I'm $60
Again,
a
join
year.
us every Thursday
$60
right
a
here.
year.
It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Onge and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show.
Well, I'll get back on there. So put that right there. We're back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We are live again at show number 583. Tomorrow will be a Champion Chevrolet, the number one Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevrolets in the state of Tennessee than Champion Chevrolet. We'll be there tomorrow. Then on Friday, Food City Friday, we told you about the 3-day coupon sale. We'll be there broadcasting live Food City in Boones Creek. So before we wrap this thing up, let's run down a big story coming out of NASCAR. They're going back to the pages of yesteryear. Chase Elliott's no longer going to drive the 24 of Jeff Gordon for next year. But Rick Hendricks switched things up. He's going to put William Byron, young man who signed on to replace Casey Kane. The number 5 car is going away. So you're going to have the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, the 88 of Alex Bowman since Junior's retiring. You're going to have the 24 of William Byron, and the number 9, bringing back the car of Chase's daddy, Bill Elliott, who drove the number 9 for so many years in NASCAR. So he's going to have the number 9. So pretty cool deal. Chase's father, Bill, scored 38 out of these 44 career wins in the number 9, as well as the 1988 NASCAR Series Championship. So, again, Jimmy Johnson, 48, Alex Bowman in the 88. You also have William Byron in the 24, the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, and then also the number 9 will be, as we said, going to be occupied now by Chase Elliott, again taking the place of his father and kind of bringing back his father's legendary number for NASCAR. So that's obviously a very, very big deal. Also this weekend in Darlington, the Bojangles Southern 500 will be a throwback weekend of all the old paint schemes from years gone by. So here's the schedule for this week. You've got the Xfinity Series Sport Clips Haircuts VFW 200 on Saturday in Darlington. Chase Elliott, as a matter of fact, the defending champ of that race. Then you've got the Monster Energy Series that'll be won by, or not won, but Bojangles Southern 500 won last year by Martin Truex Jr. Those going on. And then, of course, the trucks, the Chevrolet Silverado 250 at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Bowmanville, Ontario, I'm sorry. And John Hunter Nemechek's the defending champ of that race from a year ago. So, again, Xfinity Series in Darlington on Saturday, 3:30, they'll drop the green flag. Chase Elliott, defending champ of that race a year ago. The Bojangles Southern 500, Martin Truex Jr., the defending champ of that race from a year ago. And then also, as we said, the Chevrolet Silverado 250 in Bowmanville, Ontario, John Hunter Nemechek, the defending champ of that race from a year ago. And that's what's going on in NASCAR. So, one more time before we get out of here, and let's see what I do with it. Here we go. Major League Baseball, one more time, let's run them down for you. Who's playing where? Some day games in the bigs. This would necessitate, when you get my age, put them back on, big boy. Put them back on. Here we go. Major League Baseball today underway. Cleveland and the Yankees. C.C. Sabathia on the mound for New York. Tomlin on the hill for Cleveland. Also an afternoon game, Seattle, Baltimore. Detroit will be at Colorado to battle the Rockies. Tonight under the lights, Porcello and the Red Sox in Toronto. Texas and Houston. Dallas Keuchel at 11-2 of the Astros on the mound. Again, Texas refused to move that game from Houston to Arlington, so they're playing the games in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is asinine, to say the least, why the Rangers would not switch those games, given the fact of the horrific catastrophe going on in Houston and in Texas, but they wouldn't do it. They said only if we play all 6 games, the 3 Houston's supposed to host, and the 3 more we got to play, put them all in Texas. Well, it's not fair to the Astros, so they said nope. Up yours, we're going to St. Petersburg, which is where they're playing tonight. Chicago and Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and the Angels hosting Oakland on the left coast. In the National League today, the Bravos, Toronto on the mound in Philadelphia against the Phillies, St. Louis and Milwaukee, Detroit, as we said, at Colorado. Also a day game, Miami and Washington. Excuse me, tonight under the lights, Homer Bailey and the Reds hosting the Mets. Pittsburgh will be in Wrigley Field to battle the Cubbies, and Quintana, who is 8-11, has been kind of so-so since I picked him up. But the Cubs still on top of the NL Central. San Francisco at San Diego. The Dodgers will be at Arizona. That's what's going on in Major League Baseball again on this Wednesday, again, August the 30th, 2017. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. We'll come back with you tomorrow from Champion Chevrolet. I want to remind you one more time that you can stop by any Food City between now and next Wednesday, and again, contribute with an in-store donation to the relief efforts of Hurricane Harvey. The money you give will go to the Samaritan's Purse or the American Red Cross or the Houston Food Bank in Texas. So what a nice touch by Steve Smith, the CEO and the president of Food City, to again take up the donations for all 121 stores. So imagine if everybody went in and gave $5 every time you go in and shop between now and next Wednesday, the kind of money that's going to go to Houston. As I said earlier, we're a pretty resilient bunch here in America, so this is not our first rodeo. We've had tough times before, so we will bounce back. Our president was there yesterday. I told you on this show he would catch it because he would do something wrong from the media, and sure enough, they're on him because the First Lady didn't have the right shoes on. She showed up in pumps. Okay. She changed into walking shoes, and they said they didn't have the right walking shoes on. Anyway, we will come back tomorrow. Champion Chevrolet. It just defies logic. Big day tomorrow. College football weekend starts tomorrow night. Final night of the NFL tomorrow night. And so, of course, we'll start our Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show tomorrow night. So it's a big day. We'll rejoin tomorrow at 11 o'clock at Champion Chevrolet. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. And as always, we'll tell you as we close each and every show, win or lose, be a good sport. From Chick-Fil-A, show number 583, wrap it up. They said it wouldn't last. We'll see you tomorrow. So long, everybody.